Good morning, everyone. Let's drop some lines. I'm just trying to explore when Bitcoin will bottom. Let me show you the power of these lines. Let's go back in the past. I don't know, let's look for other bull runs. Look, there's this little bull run. And when do we know? Let's see if we could have figured out where the bottom is. I would have gone into the weekly, right? You always want to work your different time. There's like frames within time frames, but you always want to start at the highest time frame available. It depends on the chart, but something like Bitcoin is usually like a weekly. A monthly is it's not that accurate. So weekly is really the most I would want to start with. So let's see. This is the highest candle at this point, right? This is the peak right here on Monday 11 December of 2017. From there, you connect it to the next white line, right? And for the weekly, we're gonna use this orange line. Do you guys notice what happened here when we broke out? You broke out, you retested the line, and then you sort of bounced. And then you did go lower, actually. But you could have even figured that out because, let's see, there's this line to here. Yeah, you would have that one too. That would have given you the perfect little bottom right here. On top of that, I would have been looking for something like this level right here. Oh yeah, you see how many times this level bounced it? And this is COVID right here. I don't know if you guys remember, but this was COVID. So somewhere around here is where I started buying crypto. This is where I started learning about cryptocurrency. I think I bought Ethereum, $300 or something. So anyways, at this point, I think I would have been okay. I mean, let's go into the daily. So on the weekly, we would have gone that initial bottom, right? So probably at the time, I would have figured, oh, that's the bottom probably. I would have started buying things. But on the daily, let's see. So if we were here in the weekly, I would have been like, maybe I would have moved it to here. Actually, maybe not. We would have had that on the weekly. On the daily, how would it have looked? Let's see, I'm curious. Well, I would have wanted to have this line too. I would have had from here to the highest candle, which is actually here. So this one will be gone. Let's see, would that have told us the bottom? Well, if you would have entered right there, that would have been nice, right? You broke out of this resistance, you tested but failed, you broke out again, you started going kind of flat, you drop back into the line, you go a little bit lower, but not quite. What level did we hit right there? Nice. Is it this origin level right here? Right there. You see? Let me zoom in. I would have been looking for an origin level at this point. Yeah, that's the lowest one. Wow, look at that. Boom. So we wouldn't have a perfect call, but you could have drawn this line. So you would have known that once we were breaking out of here, that things were getting kind of spicy, right? Once you retested this line. Right here, we retested multiple times. Then we broke back. We found some resistance right at this line. So you would have had this line already by this point, right? You would have been like, oh shit, we're hitting resistance. You're going back down. So now you're like, oh shit, are we going to test here again? But then you would have been looking for these origin bounce levels, right? The last white candle here. To hold the move up. Look, we almost broke it here. We kissed it right there, and then finally we broke it right here. And this is usually the best times to buy, right? And then you came back and retested that, so you would have had this line. So not bad. If you would have had this line, you broke out, maybe you bought some little here, you were going up, maybe you bought some there, but you would have seen the rejection. You would have came back again. You would have noticed this was holding you back. Retest, that would have been the best buy. And that would have been pretty much your bottom. You pumped pretty hard, and then we had fucking COVID. Boom. And then we dropped back, let me guess, to our whole level, which is probably right there. Let me see. Let me zoom in to make sure it's accurate. The last untested level is here. I mean, right there would have been good. Origin, yeah, that's pretty nice. Well, this one would have broken the move right there. Wow, that's cool. So yeah, I would have been looking for any of these. I probably would have had all these levels on my chart at the time where like I didn't know this was gonna happen, but I would have had this level, right? And that's pretty fucking accurate already. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but you know, would have entered along here. That would have been one of the best buys in history, son. Look at that, boom. And then you went on for domination. So at this point, how would we figure the top up? Let's see. Let's drop some lines here. Let's look for the lowest candle on the bottom side, which would be like a red candle. Maybe this guy would have connected to the next gray candle, to the next gray candle. Had a rejection here. Let me see what this candle, what this line tells us in the future. So this one's gonna be yellow actually. Daily. Oh wow. This would have been a messy one. I don't think I would have gone that. I don't think I would have gone this top. Maybe by looking at other indicators, you know, like the bicycle top or something. But you see my point. All right, let's go back into the daily. So this top would have been hard, but as you can see, you could have found it. This is kind of how I found the top on gold. If you guys didn't know, I actually called the top on gold. Midnight. Where is it? Oh, right here. This is this line. This is the top. And then sure enough, that's exactly what happened, right? I called gold as it was happening. I was telling people as gold was approaching the line, I was like, yo, watch out, right? So I was on top of that. So these lines are not a joke, okay? Would have given you this top right here on this bull, which is pretty sick actually. So when this point in time in bull run's history, when would you jump back into crypto? When would you know that the suffering is over, right? Let's go to the highest white candle, connected to the last pain candle, right? There's nothing at this point in time, there's nothing I can attach it to over here, right? So that's it. This is max pain. And this line held us down. And when you broke out, usually what happens, not always, but you come back, retest, and that's bottom, son. That would have given you the Sodom. You also would have had this move. Let's see, I would have been looking for like an origin level. Let me zoom in here. Where is the original origin level? Here? Man, that would have been a good call, guys. Was that bottom? Yep. So as you can see, you would have had this line. So you would have been pretty accurate. Once you were breaking out of here, you could have begun to DCA, especially on the test back. You definitely want to get in there. And you're below this origin level, so this is a great buy, I would say. Right, same thing here, right? You broke out of this resistance. Sometimes you create another resistance, right? Maybe you could have gone all the way over here. And once you broke out of here, boom, chinga su madre, right? And you also have this origin level here, right? Which pretty much called the bottom. This move was keeping it up. Let's go into the current cycle, right? Let's check out Bitcoin on the current cycle. Let me go into the weekly. Let's go to the lowest candle, guys. Let's work our same tricks, right? This is how we call the top on gold. From the lowest candle, you want to go here. This is the lowest candle. Attach it to the next candle. Let's make this orange. Right here, look, ooh, perfect bounce. You found support here before you blast it off. So that's a great call. And we're over here. We haven't touched it yet. So it's a good chance we actually come here, guys. Is this the lowest candle? Yeah, it's pretty accurate. So that's what I'm thinking we're coming here, guys. I think this needs to be tested. Look, it's perfect support right here. Support before we blast it off. And I think you could have called this bottom right here. I think I did call it, because usually you want to complete these patterns, right? So from there, you would have gone to the next open candle, right? Because there's one more, which is that one. Which maybe we go there. I think this would be the worst case on Bitcoin. That means the war is probably going on for longer than we think, right? In the Middle East with Iran and all this. If we're coming down here, which is totally possible, I guess, something's wrong with the war. So this would be my lowest call on Bitcoin. Like, this is a full-on bear. If it dropped there right now, we're talking about $35,600 Bitcoin, dude. Let's keep that one an eye out for that one. But I actually think we're gonna bounce here, like I said. But look, from this candle now, we attach it to the next candle, to the next candle, to the next candle, to the next open candle. All right, there you go, guys. You see this? This is a pretty nice little retest. The question is, are we gonna hold it, I can see us holding it, but also I can see us like up this space right here. So if we go into the daily, you see we still have a little bit of space right here. Perfect. Right there we got some space. If we complete the whole thing, maybe, let me see. The most accurate way I think would be right here. And you know what's interesting about this line too? I think if we fill up this space on the, let me go on the daily. Let me see if we have any more room here to drop on Bitcoin. Because let me see. So now we're on the daily. Next open candle is here. And finally it looks like there's one more open candle on the daily. Let's see how this looks. From here you go to here. All right, there's no more candles after that. So let's see. I think Bitcoin is going there, or this is the next zone at least that I'm looking forward to see what Bitcoin does. And as you can see, we're almost there. We're talking about almost like a double bottom, like maybe taking out this little leg of the room right here. This leg that we just hit, right, to liquidate people, only to boom, bounce us back up. What's interesting about this line too, on the weekly actually, is that if we drop one of these, the 200, let's drop a simple moving average. Let's change the settings to 200 because that's the one everyone talks about. And boom. All right. So according to history, right, at the end of these bears, we always come back down and say hello to this blue line. The last bear we actually went under it, but usually, as you can see, it sort of holds these moves up, right? Boom. So even without these lines, you could just throw out a 200, and this is usually one of the best times to begin to purchase, at least, right? Especially if you're below it like this, over, like the price is completely oversold here, right? This is best time to buy, especially if you would have had this line like me, then this is the best time to buy, right? So I'm looking for, I think Bitcoin is going to this line. What's interesting about that too, right? If we go into the daily, we actually could have called the top, actually on the weekly too, but I think the daily is more accurate, but let's do it. So on the top side is, when is the pain over, right? So let's drop that line, because if we go from the top candle again to the next open candle, you get this line. It doesn't look that accurate on the weekly, but look, if you go into the daily, that would have been a nice freaking entry, right? That's insane. And on the daily, I think it's even more accurate. Look, if we go to the top candle, to the next open candle, to the next open candle, boom, we go yellow for the daily. Let's delete the weekly. And look at that. You guys see that? This is the power of these lines. It's not always 100% accurate, right? But that's what's sort of happening. And how will we know that Bitcoin is done correcting? Well, let's see. Well, also let me look. Actually, well, I'm looking for Bitcoin to break out of here, obviously. See, there's no other line I can draw beyond this daily resistance right here. So I'm really curious to see when Bitcoin gets here. Are we gonna hit it and drop back here and just keep bouncing in here? I don't know, but we'll know that the pain is over when we break out of here. Maybe we come and retest. That's usually the move. Take everyone out before, boom, you blast off. So as you can see, guys, we are freaking close, right? We don't need this 200 anymore. I think we're getting close to Bitcoin bottom. On top of that, right, if we do the origin level, where's our origin levels? Where's our first white candle that is keeping this move up right now as we speak? Let's see. I think this is one of the first candles right here. Ooh, give you this little bottom too. You guys see? You hit an origin, and that's what happens. But I think there's even lower origin that we should be waiting for here. That's a good one, but the lowest one, I think it's here. Every time no broken candles below here. So maybe I would say this is a good place to be looking for some super longs, you know? Somewhere in the zone is where I think Bitcoin is going to bottom. If history, but obviously I'm just reading the lines, right? I don't know what's gonna happen. Is this war going to get out of control? Is it going to go longer than we think? It could, right? I don't think, because we've been warned about this war for a long time, and this could, Iran's plan is not to destroy us militarily, it's to destroy us economically, and that they can do the longer they hold this Strait of Hormuz closed. And if we go to war, I'm wondering if we do drop into this zone, right? Maybe we come here, we come over here, fake out, and then boom, right? We start going down here. And now we're here rolling for like the next 10 years before we break out, right? So that's a possibility too. Hopefully we don't go sideways for 10 years like gold did, right? But that's what I think. That's what I'm waiting for, right? I'm really looking for this zone between $60 and $54,300. I want to see what happens to Bitcoin right here. And that's the power of these lines, guys. Remember, this is how I called the top on gold, right? Look at this line. You guys see this orange line? I got it from the weekly. You go back into time. You find the lowest candle here on this move, right? You do your thing. You found support here multiple times before you kissed it, and then boom, gold just went sideways for the next 10 years and didn't break its all-time high right here until here. Boom, then you got blast off. You hit this line, and ever since then, gold has just been getting super. This is just like a super correction. And I heard that this one candle right here is how big is this candle? This was a 16% drop on Bitcoin, but I heard that that candle right there is worth the entire market cap of all crypto, right? Because cryptocurrencies are, the market caps are just really small compared to something like gold, right? It takes way less money to move Bitcoin than it does to move gold. So apparently whoever sold this candle, they could have bought all of crypto, and that's it, right? And ever since then, gold has been correcting. I want to see what happens to gold once it gets to here. Maybe a bounce, maybe it goes lower. But as you can see, I'm already monitoring that. So if you want to keep up on gold, follow me at Bad Money 619. Silver, same thing. Look, it's the same fucking chart. It doesn't look that impressive here, but if I go into the daily, look at that. Boom. And I was warning people, right? I was telling you guys about this before it happened, guys. Right? Look, I had these lines. This is in January. Before it happened, I was warning people as it was happening. And yeah, I also think the dollar is about to collapse. So I don't really know what that means. But if we lose this line, I think we're going to come down here on the dollar. So let's pull that up, because the gold, see, dollar has been struggling to get above this yellow line. It's been rejected multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Came down here, found support. It's coming back up. Is it gonna break up? Maybe it goes as high as, it does come all the way over here again, and then this is a new origin. But if the dollar breaks out of under this green line, watch out, guys. It's gonna drop hard, right? It's gonna go, maybe it'll take a long time, but I think we're gonna come all the way over here. That's like a 15% drop. So what does that mean for other assets like Bitcoin? What does that mean for other assets like gold? I don't know. Maybe gold finds support here, and you know, maybe it goes sideways for a little bit, eventually gets back up, and then boom, right? I don't know. I don't know, but I think you're better off in something like Bitcoin that hasn't pumped. Because if you pull up the Bitcoin measure in gold, what this chart is telling me, guys, is that you're better off moving into Bitcoin now, right? Look, we went a little bit under here, but it looks like we're trying to hold support. Again, this is Bitcoin measure in gold. We have this resistance here holding up price down. We came into it, we're getting rejected. Now Bitcoin is going down. I think there's a quick little correction happening in Bitcoin, right? Like I said, I think we're gonna double bottom at least. I think it's happening right now. But once Bitcoin measuring gold can get above here, I think it's gonna start exploding, and that actually means you're better off in Bitcoin than gold. But everything's correcting right now. I don't know what's happening with the world, But I think we are at historical levels, and according to the lines, this is a great time to start DCAing into the market, which means you just buy whatever you can week or every other week. All right, whenever you get paid, you throw $10 a week, $20 into, I don't know, your favorite cryptos. Learn about cryptocurrencies. Like favorite ones are the most decentralized and useful. So Bitcoin, I like Cardano because it's one of the most decentralized cryptocurrencies. And as you can see, look, we're at the bottom of we're under this triangle, right? So this, according to history, might be one of the best times to buy. Maybe we spike down one more time if Bitcoin corrects. I'm gonna be looking for these. I'll probably be looking for this level on Cardano. I'll tell you the truth right here. I'll leave it here for the record. Where's the origin level that's holding this whole move up, guys? We're talking about right there. I'm gonna keep that on my chart actually. So 13.08 ADA. Bam. God damn. All right, we still got some dropped if that's the case, but I'm happy as long as we're above here. This whole zone is DCA zone. That's all. That's what I'm saying basically. And I believe in the future, if you see Cardano break above here, watch out because it's going to come attack here, and this pattern actually ends by 2027. So Cardano needs to make a decision, and if it's not going to zero, then where is it going? It's the only peer-reviewed cryptocurrency, and they went all the way to $3 here when really there was that technology wasn't even ready. I don't even know that it's 100% ready yet. But there's so much more now happening inside this ecosystem, not just in Cardano, but all the other ones. But now we have things like Midnight, which is the same creators as Cardano, same people behind it, right? IOHK and Charles Hoskinson. This is only a couple of weeks, but this is like a 4th generation cryptocurrencies that allows us to do all kinds of things with privacy, CK proof knowledge, and it's also going to have Bitcoin DeFi, and that's cool because I don't want my Bitcoin in any other chain that's not right. I want my in UTXO like in Cardano, and Cardano is the only other cryptocurrency that I know is UTXO, so it's of the same DNA as Bitcoin, right? It's just a way of counting blocks, and Cardano was built with Bitcoin in mind. See all these blocks where it says night, people are buying this crypto night right here live as it's happening, right? And this is this one. I think this is just people buying ADA. So there's not a lot of action right now, but when the bull run's hitting, you'll see like blocks and blocks just dropping. But right now, no one gives a shit about crypto, as you can see, guys. But my point is that Cardano's the only ones that have the same DNA as Bitcoin. So Bitcoin never has to leave your wallet, and you can still do finances. And now it's something like Night, which has been dropped into Solana, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. I think Binance too. This now gives us privacy, and now all these chains now have a way to unlock a whole realm of privacy, a whole new realm of dApps and cool technology. As you can see, it's only a couple weeks old, a couple days old, guys, and there was no VC money behind something like this. So I think it's a great time to start learning about projects like Midnight. I think it's a great time to learn about Cardano, right? This is Midnight City too. This is all like guys talking to one another. This is like proof. So all these interactions here. This is gonna grow with time. It's not that cool right now. It's only AIs in there, but eventually I'm gonna be able to put my own AI in there, my Bad Money AI, to talk to these other AIs where they'll just be able to talk to one another. Where's the AIs? They're all sleeping right now or something. Let me see. Public God mode. How do I go? I don't even know how to use it. Anyways, go check out Midnight City. And yeah, guys. Well, if I made this chaos make more sense for you, if I turn this chaos into order, then yeah, I'm here at Bad Money 619. This is where I put all my predictions. I'm trying to make videos. This is us in San Diego. The bear market. This is my homie Rod from the church and dreams. We also got my homie over here, Rick. This is Rick. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is us here in San Diego, Miss Nifty with Stan Crypto. We had Cali Crypto over here and me interviewing his ass. That was fun, dude. A bunch of us here in San Diego still believe in cryptocurrencies because we believe in the original promise of crypto, and we're living through some crazy times where our leaders are taking us into war. And I don't think a lot of people realize that these tools, actually, something like Midnight, something like Cardano, like Bitcoin, and just the whole cryptocurrency space is here because we were supposed to fight against the man, against the system. I think we just forgot. People are waiting for BlackRock to get here, right? But I think people will use, I think this is just a Trojan horse. Bitcoin, it was just a Trojan horse, and you can't control code. Crypto is not here to be regulated, in my opinion. It's here to regulate them. So this is Bad Money. I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace.